All right, guys, welcome to another episode of The Report. And today I got back for the second time. Not the first time, but the second time. And we're on a boat this time. I got my man, Brair Cochran. What's up, Briar?
What's up, man? Excited to be back. Round two.
Dude.
2 times in what, 2 weeks?
2 times in 2 weeks, man. Feedback was amazing with the last one. And, dude, we're on a boat this time. We got an amazing holiday event coming, going on this weekend. A lot of our investors, community members are going to be in town. We're going out in the water tonight. 3-boat side tie, private chef, live music, all that good stuff, man. But I'm just grateful to be in your presence. So thank you for coming out.
Well, dude, and thanks for just having us. You're a killer host. We're at the Hotel Zendel downtown or in Little Italy. It's literally 10 out of 10. Thanks for having us, bro.
Dude, of course, man. So I want to provide a lot of game in this short episode, and I do want to drop some game on, obviously personal branding and content as we get into 2026. I really believe that personal branding and content is going to really separate yourself as a business owner, as a real estate investor, whether you're in different niches, whatever it is you do. I think personal branding is going to be everything. And then in a world of AI becoming more and more prevalent, being authentic is going to be more and more important. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. Like I call this counter positioning. We probably have 2 to 3 years left before it is over for your opportunity to actually build your personal brand. And the only way to do it is authenticity. And then after the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be 10 times more important. I think there's a few ways to do this. It's, your personality, that's the classic one. But a lot of people overlook a lot of other things. What is your actual niche? We saw someone today that has 27,000 followers in pickleball rehab. Who is going to think to themselves, AI, I'm going to go make 1,000 videos in pickleball rehab? So that's just a great example, but yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then also I think with AI becoming more and more prevalent, people are reading scripts these days, and then you have clones. And so you don't know what's real and what's not. And so I think these long form conversations like we are having right now are going to win the game as we get into 2026 and 2027. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I would say long form conversations, live events, so community events. And I think what is going to be huge is actually incorporating cast members that are actually real. Because it's going to be not just Rich, but it's also going to be Presley. It's also going to be Lauren. It's also going to be, Grant whenever he comes in. And then people start to create an affinity, not just with this one character, but these other real people. And it's just kind of weird to love a bunch of fake people. No one's going to get to that point where oh yeah, my favorite podcast is these 7 to 10 fake people. So bringing in more of your cast members is going to be huge. Live events is 100%. This is what everyone else is saying. Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO, that's where he's investing a ton of money into these places that are going back into live events, and then long form conversations. You can't, hey dude, AI can't just be on maybe it could get the boat, but it's not gonna have a conversation like this.
And the cool thing about events is, if you're listening to this right now, you don't have to do this elaborate in-person event and put a lot of time into planning it. I started my first meetup, real estate meetup here in San Diego in 2019. We've been hosting it for 6 years now, and it's become San Diego's largest real estate investing networking event. And we just started promoting it on meetup.com, right? Everyone's got the Meetup app, and then also Bigger Pockets and some social media. And through that, we just started hosting it monthly, and more people started coming out. And now we got I want to say we grew our list to about 7,000 or 8,000 people that have come to our event at some time. Grant Cardone was out earlier this year. But guys, you don't have to overthink it. Go to meetup.com, whatever your niche is, and start an event or a meetup and make it free. And literally just invite people that are in your niche, and you'd be surprised how many people live in your market, no matter where you live in the world, that are actually into the same thing that you're into. And by you just creating that environment, you're bringing the network to you. Yeah. People always ask me what's the best way to network? I'm like, go build something cool and watch the network come to you. And you as the event host, people are just naturally going to come up to you and want to conversate with you and meet you. Yeah,
100%. I think the easiest way to upgrade your offer, whatever it is, your product or service, is to add a quarterly in-person event for all of the users. If you're on the info side, add a quarterly event. Go Miami, New York, LA, Denver. Yes. You will literally, I bet your close rate would go up 20 to 40% because of how much people crave that, especially for higher ticket, more successful people. It's all about, you already have the networking, the importance there. It's getting more and more difficult to get your group of 5 people who you're gonna be the most like to a high level. And so just adding that is going to be probably who wins, especially where trust is getting absolutely destroyed. Everyone is no one's trustworthy. So if I can have an in-person event, oh wow, that's like a lot more legit. I'm not going to get scammed in an in-person event.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's what I think is absolutely.
So I want to talk about formatting and the different types of content that you can put out there. I think is very important for anyone listening right now, because as a content creator, depending on what formats you guys go with, they're going to all require a different level of time, right? So for example, if I go shoot a day in the life video and recap my entire Sunday, that's going to take me hours, right? I gotta shoot throughout the day. I'm gonna have to chop up the clips. I'm gonna have to do a voiceover, and it might take you 10 or 12 tries before you get it right, maybe 20. And that's just not sustainable long term as a content creator. On the flip side, I do a lot of Twitter posting, which is like quick, raw, and dirty content. I don't need a camera, so I could be anywhere in the world and literally just come up with a Twitter post. Takes me 3 to 5 minutes. Boom, I put it out on Twitter X, I screenshot it, and that goes out on Instagram, it goes out on Facebook, and then I copy and paste it. It also goes out on Threads. Oh, and now YouTube is doing this what do you call it?
Carousels, the
carousels and posts. And so we're repositioning my content, the Twitter post, to go out on YouTube. So now we're talking 5 platforms, and it took you 5 minutes to create, right? And so I think as far as a return on your time, the Twitter posting might be the best return on your time, but there's so many other formats out there. What are your favorites?
Yeah, I want to just backtrack a little bit. The reason formats are so important are because there are 5 hooks to every video. Everyone says there's just one. There's actually 5. So we have the verbal hook. This is the most classic one. We have the text hook or the sticker hook. Okay. And then we have the visual hook. Okay, right now we have a visual hook of a boat, everything behind us. Now this is where the 2 get most overlooked. We have the caption hook. This is that little, down at the bottom where we're gonna write our little caption that people are gonna comment under. The first 8 words are going to get seen in the first 3 seconds. So we can actually pair that into how we're navigating the verbal hook and the on-screen text hook. And then let's add a third complementary piece of information in the caption hook. But then the most important one, I think, in 2026 is the format hook. This is whenever my eyes first see something before I've even consumed any piece of information, what am I looking at? Am I looking at a podcast clip? Am I looking at a green screen? Am I looking at a clone video that we've talked about? Am I looking at a day in the life? Am I looking at just a classic talking head, pen and paper, just sitting there? And what happens is if people have been burnt out, right now these fake podcasts are going wildly popular, people aren't even giving them a chance anymore. Right? They're auto scrolling. And so the hook rate to that format is terrible. Yeah. So if you can just counter position your hook or your format, your hook rate's gonna go way up.
And when you say fake podcast, just so we're on the same page, you mean someone that is setting up a set so it looks like they're in a podcast, but they're just looking at it, they're looking over here and they're talking to no one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I see that a lot. And honestly, this is how I can tell. Because you don't see the camera on the guest, the person they're talking to.
Yes.
And if you look at my podcast clips, I always, even in the hook, I have both cams in the hook.
Yes.
And then we go back and forth. It makes it more conversational. But that's also why I feel like long form is important as we get into this world of AI, even with the short form, because now you're hitting the long form, but then you're pulling out the short form clips, and it's still a long form conversation, but it hits both metrics, your long form and your short form, and it's showing authenticity because you're showing that you're actually having a real conversation with someone.
100%. Yeah, and I'm not a hater on the fake podcast clips, but it's getting overdone.
Does it?
Yeah, it's getting overdone. There are some people that can keep doing it and they'll transcend, but if you're new, do not, for the love of God, do that format. Instead, these are the 5 formats I would do. Number 1 is I would go green screen. This is super easy. It's very easy to do in the TikTok app. This is the easiest one to crack in and grow your channel right off the rip. Okay, number 2 is we can go talking head, pen and paper. This is a format that I actually invented. You're just at a desk, you just have a pen and paper, and what this does is it makes it feel like you're regurgitating notes. It's a real subtle visual hook. Okay, number 3, whiteboard. We talked about this. Having a whiteboard with a little bit of curiosity on the whiteboard, if you could have an acronym, if you have an equation where people just go like, yo, what the hell's on the whiteboard? Yeah. They want to see the rest of the video. Number 4 is called a clone format. This is a little bit trickier. This is where we're getting into maybe a more difficult, no longer a low lift format. I'm here, and then I'm also right here, and I'm talking to myself. Okay. Personal Brand Launch does this. Avni Barman does this really well. And then my 5th format, and this is probably very similar to the Twitter post, is a great carousel. Just run a great carousel. Carousels are phenomenal. Little 10 steps to do X, how I did Y. It's great stuff. So that's how I think it's going to win.
And one thing I'm realizing is occurring right now with the algorithm is the carousels on Instagram, at least. If you want a high percentage of your current audience to see it, do a carousel right now.
Yes.
Reels, low percentage of your audience is going to see it. And so if you want your followers to see whatever it is you're posting, if you have a specific CTA to your offer, definitely do a carousel, do not do a reel. That's my experience.
Yeah, a couple notes here for beginners. Number one, you have to have music on your carousels or else it doesn't get sent to non-followers. I see this mistake so many times. I was literally consulting with Minecraft.
Yes.
Okay, they don't have music on their freaking posts. It doesn't get discovery, because that's how you get into the discovery feed.
A couple other things here. So ideation is big.
Yes.
One of the biggest constraints, or one of the biggest questions that I get from new content creators is they don't know what kind of content they should be putting out, and they run out of ideas.
Yes.
It's easier for someone like me to come up with ideas because I have so many other pieces of content that I put out in the past, and I know what works and it doesn't work, or if I get in a pinch where I just don't have time to come up with something, or I don't have anything in the bank, we can just fire off and remix an old one that already popped off 6 months ago, and for the most part, no one notices, and it's going to get you views again. But as a new content creator, it's often tough to come up with new ideas because you don't have anything to go off of. And so, what is the best approach for someone like that?
Yeah, so people pay me $10,000 for basically the next 3 minutes. Okay, number one, we know that Sam Gaudette, who is the creative director of the fastest growing personal brand over the last 5 years, Dan Martell, he says, and I agree with him on this, that ideas are king. It doesn't matter about the hooks, doesn't matter about the editing, doesn't matter about anything except for the ideas. This is the backbone. So how do we get good ideas? How do we continually source the ideas? I kind of have like 4 to 5 frameworks here.
Okay.
Number one, Reddit. We go to our subreddits that are inside of our niche, and we're searching by top of the month, and we're gonna copy and paste all the subreddit, toss it into ChatGPT and be like, what is the main conversation here? Boom, video. Okay, we're gonna scan Reddit like crazy.
Yes.
Number two is we're gonna make a fake TikTok that's just for our niche. Okay, we're gonna only follow 5 to 10 people. We're only gonna engage with them. We're gonna save the videos that are outliers, but here's the trick. We can't save anything that hits our feed. We have to go to the person's profile and see if it's an outlier for them. Okay, it might have 500,000 views and we're like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome, but they average 2 million.
Yes.
Okay, that's a bad video. I shouldn't do that. That's a 25% underlier, not an outlier. Number 3 is we want to look at our internal data. This is more for people who are already posting. You can already tell we should be posting based off of what performed 2 weeks ago. Just put a new format on it, put a new hook on it, use a different illustration, use a metaphor, explain it a little bit differently. I'm sure you do this with your podcast.
Yes.
You know, if a guest with the same topic crushed about how you can use your Roth IRA to buy a Super Bowl ticket, we might be telling the same person, hey, what do you think about this topic? Right, get it going again. And then the last thing is our top 5 competitor list. Who are the 5 people in the niche? And then bonus points, go into the comments and figure out what questions they're not answering. Then you create fandom. Alex Ramosi is ignoring a lot of comments. Go in, be like, hey, I actually made a video about this. Answer their question, boom, you start to steal some of their fandom.
Yeah, that's really good. One more thing that I'll add in to include there is I think everyone should have 5 to 6 creators in their niche that they look up to. And these should be folks that are successfully growing their accounts, that you look up to and you inspire to become. You like their content, and study the way they talk to the camera.
Yes.
Study the way they do their hooks, their call to actions, and go through their pages and look at like their most viral videos and the most engaged videos, the ones with the most shares, and literally pull, like literally if you have 5 or 6 creators above you, if you pull their top 10 videos over the last year, now you got 50 to 60 ideas that are in your space, and you already know those topics in your space are going to get a lot of engagement. They already worked, and so assuming that you have knowledge on those, or you want to frame it in a different position of like, hey, like I learned this today, or you mentioned on the podcast we did before a couple other ways to frame it. What are those ways, by the way? If you're new and you're like, hey, here's something I learned from reading this 3-hour book, and I'm going to teach you in 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So there's just a bunch of psychological principles. Number one, we can frame it with the new unique frame point. We can frame it with social proof, right? So you can go like, I was mentored by this person for 5 years. Here's what I learned. Okay, we can go dream outcome, which means like, what is your ICP, ideal customer profile, ideal viewer profile? What are they obsessed with? What do they actually want? So usually there's a specific word that they actually want. You can talk about it that way. We can use risk reversal, which means like, what's the one thought that they're thinking like, I'm not going to be able to do this because X. Get ahead of it and say, oh, with no money down, no money up front, right? That's an example of a risk reversal. I have 15 of these. I can give them to you. If we comment principles, I'll give you these. We can have a mini chat automation run right to it.
That's really good. That's really good. So anyways, yeah, you got your 5 or 6 people, and these 5 or 6 should evolve over time.
Yes.
Because if you're doing a good job as a content creator, you're going to start to pass some of these folks, right? And so the people that you used to look up to, now you pass them and then reset those 5 or 6. And so I'm always studying 5 or 6 people that are above me. Kobe Bryant did that when he, was coming up in the basketball realm. He studied Michael Jordan, and then he became the greatest, right? And so I'm a big believer in studying the people that are above you. Curious for you, man.
Real quick, I want to add to that. So study the 4 to 5 people in your niche. 2 bonus things. Don't just study their content. This is kind of weird. I will literally study their mannerisms. There are 2 creators. Well, Shane Gillis, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
He does this a lot. I stole his mannerisms because I wasn't comfortable on camera. Let me pretend. Who cares? Let me pretend to be Shane Gillis. Another great creator, Davi Gazelle.
Yeah.
He does like this a lot. Like, guys, I don't know who needs to hear this. I just started adding it. It's just like I just needed to get in the flow state. So steal that. And then number 2, to add to your point of copying the greats, go copy 3 to 5 people in a different niche that you just enjoy.
Yes.
So maybe it's fantasy football and your niche is real estate. Let that be something that you can move over so that you're not just always running the pit of your niche and people just see you as one of the other people in your niche.
I like that a lot.
Go combine something else from this gardening niche that you're also just kind of a fan of, the music niche.
Yes.
Go pull a format, go pull a fascinating concept, move it over, and that's how you become innovative.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think the most important thing that I've actually seen as a content creator over the last few years that leads to growth is consistency.
Yes.
I think I've seen way too many people get into something, they do it for 2 months, 3 months, the content game, they don't see a lot of growth. Shoot, the first 2-3 months I put out content, I lost followers. And it does get discouraging, right? And so I see a lot of people put in the work and then they give up. They're like, man, it's a lot of work, I'm not seeing results, and they quit and they give up. Now, the key is to stick through it. 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, put out the reps, put out the at-bats, and if you can do that, you can win. It's easy to look at people like Dan Martell, but guys, Dan Martell, when he first came on podcast, November of 2023, the guy had 170K followers on Instagram. This is only 2 years ago.
Yes.
170K on Instagram. And now the guy is pushing 2 million followers and subs on every single channel, almost 10 million. And this has all happened in the last 2 years. And he had been putting out content 8 years prior to that and just no one watched.
Yes.
Same thing with Alex Ramosi. Everyone sees this version of Alex Ramosi and they're like, damn, but Alex talks about it all the time. He's like, dude, I had a podcast and I had 3,000 downloads a month for 3 years straight, and his content was still good. It's just no one watched yet. And then all of a sudden it hits. And so I think the takeaway is like everything we do, business, content, it's the hockey stick model, right? It's flatline, and then all of a sudden you hit a point and then you start to go up. And that point for a lot of the biggest players typically isn't for 5, 6, 7, 8 years in of posting every single day. So don't get discouraged if you're not getting a lot of engagement, you're not getting a lot of views in the beginning. You're not supposed to get a lot of views in the beginning.
Let me take a stab here.
Yeah.
If you had to get rid of all of your personal brand,
Yeah.
or your real estate portfolio, which one would you get rid of?
Ooh.
And maybe I handcuff myself here. Maybe you would say personal brand, but I'm curious what you
Well, okay, so I have a obligation to my investors. But if I had no investors, if I had no investors with the real estate, I would pick the personal brand because I can go buy the real estate again with the personal brand.
The greatest asset in 2026 you can have is a personal brand. Now back to your point.
Yes.
If I start in 300 view jail on January 1st and I get 1% better, to add to your point, it's not just consistency, we have to improve.
Yes.
We have to improve 1% better. Nobody is making incremental changes. If you start at 300 views and you get 1% better, at the end of the year, you will be averaging 11,000 views a day. That is a path to 100,000 followers, and you will never have to worry about money ever again. Okay? Ever again. That is, I just believe it so much. Like if you could just do anything in 2026, start posting content and start learning the skill 1% better every single day, and your life will be wildly different. Wildly different.
Mic drop. That was so good. Briar, dude, thank you for coming on, man. Excited to hang with you this weekend. Also, very excited that you're going to be a thought leader with the 7-figure creator, the community that we have, man. A lot of good value, a lot of good game. Where can the folks get in touch with you?
At Brair Cochran, BRIAR COCHRAN.
He's Brair Cochran. I'm Rich Summers. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Peace, my man. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right.
So good. So good.